Well, one of the key parts of the interview process and the job process in general is having a job talk, a paper that will do that job of selling you to the appointments committee when you have that precious fly-in interview. There's a number of basic things you should follow in doing this, as well as some very specific tips which really apply to talks in general, but particularly to this one. First of all, you should choose for your job talk a paper that you know well, that you've worked on for a long time, you're confident about, you no longer have any kind of serious issues or doubts about it, you've done the kind of work, you've polished it, and you are pretty confident about your argument. On the other hand, qualifying that slightly, you don't want, when you present it, to come across as having completely decided and settled your mind on this question, and as having said the last word on the topic that you're actually looking at in the paper. You do want to come across as being open-minded, open to feedback, comments, suggestions and the like from your potential future colleagues. So you should always sell it and present it as being what in fact it should be, which is part of the continuing, ongoing research project. The point of the talk is to demonstrate to the interviewing panel your qualities as both a scholar and a teacher. In terms of the first part, what you need to do in the paper is to demonstrate your research skills, to show through what you say, through the actual paper itself, that you can do adequate research, that you've got a good grasp and command of the literature, that your technique is good and effective. You also want to present, however, yourself as being a good teacher. Your presentation skills, your ability to convey ideas in a simple and easily comprehensible form to people who, although smart, may not know as much as you do, or certainly won't know as much as you do about the topic in question. All this is very important because it conveys that you will be a good teacher at either undergraduate or graduate level, and increasingly this is one of the qualities that schools are really looking for when they make appointments, as well as somebody who's going to be a good researcher. So you should think of yourself as being both a teacher and a researcher in your presentations and try to emphasize both of those sides of your skill set. There's a number of minor points, but apparently quite important ones, that is worth bearing in mind. As I say, these apply to talks in general, but they apply with particular force to this career crucial talk, in fact. You should not read your paper. This is not a good idea. You want to engage with your audience effectively, and reading your paper puts a barrier between you and the audience and means that this doesn't come across so well. I would strongly advise that you minimize the use of PowerPoint and use it only really for illustrations, formulas, maps, pictures and the like. Do not use it for text, because again it creates a barrier between you and your audience. You want to come across as friendly and engaging, but you also want to be very, very clear. So you should always start by stating very, very clearly for your audience what your conclusion is, what argument you're going to develop, how it fits into the existing literature on the subject, and most importantly, how this fits into your own continuing and developing research agenda and project.